guys, today it is time for another Top 5 Wednesday. This week's topic are your top 5 books that would make good video games, and I have decided not to do a top 5 because I had so many ideas and I simply want to talk about all of them. I cannot, I got so excited when I read this topic, and then I just kind of looked at my shelf and looked at all of the books that I have read, and I realized that there's so many books that would make great video games. If you go out of the kind of action shooter genre, there's so many different kinds of games that fit to so many different kinds of books. I got so excited, and I simply cannot make this a top 5 list. I would die. I'm just gonna get into it. I'm just gonna name all of the books I think would make really cool video games and talk a bit about how I would imagine them. So I'm gonna start with one that is kind of, I guess, a little bit unconventional, and that would be On the Other Side by Carrie Hope Fletcher. I think On the Other Side would actually make a really great point-and-click adventure. I actually played a lot of point-and-click adventure games when I was a child, and I do enjoy them still from time to time. I just think that, I don't know, I really like the old point-and-click adventures that are just really pixelated and stuff. For some reason I can't really get into the newer stuff, although there are still things that I really enjoy, but some of my favorites, Monkey Island and Simon the Sorcerer, these old games, they are just, I love them. And I feel like On the Other Side, maybe not as a pixelated version, but as a point-and-click adventure, would work really, really well, because it's kind of a very clear storyline that you just kind of have to go through, and you have to find different things. You have to maybe sometimes combine things. You have to search for the right actions to do with different things. And for some reason, I just feel like, as it is such a clear storyline, it would be really great to go through that storyline with a point-and-click adventure. Then we have the Illuminant Files by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, and I feel like just the general setting and general very basic storyline would make for a really great action adventure game with a lot of mystery. It would be, I think, a really cool game to kind of have really storyline combined with shooter stealth, depending on how you want to play it. I'm kind of imagining it, I think, like The Last of Us, because The Last of Us is really storyline based, but you have these sequences where you have stealthy stuff or shooty stuff, and I feel like this story would make for a really great game like that. Then I have a book that actually doesn't really get talked about much anymore in the community, but I think quite a lot of people have read, and that is the Angel Fall Trilogy by Susan E. I really enjoyed this trilogy, and I feel like this is another one that would just really work in a way where the storyline is kind of important, but you have just lots of sequences where you run from things, where you shoot things, where it's stealthy. I think this is especially cool because we know lots of alien games and space stuff. This, on the other hand, is about an angel apocalypse. It's really different. I feel like it would really make for a change in this kind of genre, because it's not aliens or zombies or anything like that. It's actually evil angels, and doesn't that sound kind of amazing? I even think you could really include this kind of love story in there really well in the game. I think it would make for a nice change of pacing and stuff. Oh, I don't know. I feel like this would be really cool because it would be similar in style to a lot of games, but it would be something completely new because of the angel setting. Then I have the Shadowhunter Chronicles. So I feel like with this one, it wouldn't really be story-based, or it could be slightly story-based. Okay, I'm imagining a kind of modern-day World of Warcraft. In World of Warcraft, if you don't know, it's you choose different races, you have humans, you have elves, goblins, all these kinds of different things, and then you kind of choose what kind of class they are. So I think with having werewolves, vampires, shadowhunters, warlocks in the Shadowhunter Chronicles, it would make for such a great basis for a MMORPG. I'm just oh my god. And I really feel like the modern day setting is what would make this special, because I guess lots of the basic things would be very similar to World of Warcraft. I feel like the modern day setting would make it really interesting, or just the urban setting. I wouldn't even erase the fact that maybe potentially you could also have the Infernal Devices setting in London in the whatever century it was, but I just mean an urban setting, not a fantasy world setting. I don't know, I feel like it's just really, really cool, and I feel like you could include many of the basic storylines. I mean, you could be your own new character, but maybe meet the characters we know from the books in different storylines, in different quest lines. The dungeons, oh my god, like I kind of want this game right now. That's basically what's happening with all of these. Like, I just realized I want all of these games. Then we have the archive, which I also think would make a really good video game. I feel like this would probably go into some kind of adventure direction as well. I don't really know, like maybe point and click, but I also think like maybe something with like puzzles would make a really cool game as well. If you know the video game Catherine, there's also kind of a storyline, and then every night you have the main character playing this kind of puzzle game. He dreams kind of that he is in this like really weird thing and has to kind of climb up things, and it's kind of puzzly. And I feel like I would imagine this in a similar way. You have like sequences that are basically just cutscenes where maybe you can choose what you're gonna say and you can kind of influence the conversation, but then you also have these like puzzle things that you can do like every few cutscenes. I feel like in general this would make just for a really like cool setting and just would also be a really pretty game, so I want that. Then of course we also have Vicious. This actually took me a really long time to find out what kind of game I would want with this. I knew right away I would want Vicious to be a video game, because how could you not? There's kids screaming outside. I'm really sorry, but I'm not gonna stop filming right now because who knows when they are finishing with screaming. So I was thinking this could probably be a really amazing Telltale game. You know, Telltale, they give you the feeling like you have any say in how the storyline goes, but you don't actually. Like, the story will always basically end up at the same point. It's just that you are gonna end up with one less person, or you're gonna end up alone, or you're gonna end up with this big group of people and simple stuff like that. So I feel like it would, for this one, be really easy to follow the whole storyline and really have like almost a kind of movie, but have it with like choosing what you say, who you kill off, who you stay with. I feel like there could be really cool new characters introduced in a game, because basically the opportunities are endless with characters in this one. So I mean, Telltale, get on it. Like, I don't want to movie or a TV show anymore. I just want a fucking Telltale game. Another book, or rather trilogy, that I think would make a really good Telltale game is Daughter of Smoke and Bone, especially with having these different settings, and you could really make this into different episodes and different seasons really, really well. I feel like, you know, you kind of start out in the like normal world and you kind of unravel these different mysteries. I guess for some reason I feel like the vibe would be very The Wolf Among Us. If you kind of have just seen trailers of that, I think the feeling for Daughter of Smoke and Bone would be very similar, and that would just be amazing. And I feel like, you know, then you have this like modern day setting, and then you get into this fantasy setting, and you have so many like different and weird characters. You have lots of like big speeches and people talking to each other, which would work really well, where you just choose your answers, but then you could also kind of decide who you want to kill and who you want to stay with, and there's kind of, you know, these little things. And then you would have like little action adventures where you just really like kind of, what are they called? Quick action, no, quick, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, honestly, this would work really, really well. That's another one, like Telltale, get on it. Like, Telltale, you're really missing out on not adapting books in your games. Like, I love The Walking Dead and I love The Wolf Among Us, and I know there's a Game of Thrones one and there's a Minecraft one. So like, how about you get onto books, Telltale? Because you're missing out. And then, of course, what would my life be if I would not include the Shades of Magic trilogy? I mean, honestly, I just imagine this as a point and click adventure, and let this sink in for a moment. Like, think about it. Think about it. Think about the beauty that this would be as a point and click adventure. I don't know, you have like this kind of oldish setting, you have a fantasy setting, you have ships, you have magic. Oh my god. Honestly, I feel like I should just get a new job. I should become a game developer because I want to make this into a game. I always thought this would make a like really cool musical as well, but now all I want is for this to be a fucking video game. Honestly, I feel like as much as I sometimes have problems to kind of imagine places and storylines and people in my head while reading, when it comes to imagining all of these things in video games, I'm there. Like my mind, I guess my mind just works in video games. Holy shit, I mean, come on. And like, I feel like this would actually be probably a good like Telltale game as well. Probably a good Lego game as well. Oh my god, the ideas are endless with this one because I love it so much I literally don't even care. Now, I don't want to be like shitty, but like, come on. This is about a world in which the like horrible actions of people create like real life monsters. Like, I mean, I'm not sure if Victoria Schwab maybe accidentally gave the script of a fucking video game to her editor instead of the script of a book. Cause like, this sounds like a video game already, so... So I think these are all of the books that I wanted to talk about, and I just thought about how I think the Six of Crows Trilogy would probably make a really cool Telltale game as well. Also, the Grisha Trilogy would probably make a really cool MMORPG as well, because you have these different Grishas. Oh my god, like the more I think about it, the more I can imagine basically all of these books as video games. This is fantastic, and I feel like I'm gonna make another video about this because I'm obsessed with this idea right now. And I know there's a few more books where I could potentially imagine them as video games, but these were the books where I was really sure this is the idea that I wanted to go for, you know? These were really books where I was like, okay, I want this to be like an action-adventure game, I want this to be a Telltale game, I want this to be a point-and-click adventure. Let me know if you have any ideas for books you want to see as video games. I'm just like, my brain is like exploding with ideas right now. I can't even. I'm so excited. So definitely let me know. So excited to see everybody else's video. And thank you so much for watching. I guess I'll see you soon. Bye!